What's going on, guys? My name is Centis, and today I'm going to be showing off my Ambessa deck that I've been working on. Uh, Ambessa is a brand new orange-yellow legend that came out with Vendetta. She completely revolves around the new mechanic of empowerment. The legend says that I become empowered when something else becomes empowered. You can then tap and recycle a rune and spend the empower to ready a unit. This is a very, very strong ability. We've obviously seen this with Aurelia. Very, very strong. I'm super interested in playing this deck specifically because orange yellow is one of my favorite color combinations in the game. I absolutely had a ball playing Fiora in Spirit Forged. I got a bit of gameplay with set. I didn't really play set as much as I wanted to. I just couldn't find product in set one. And then with set three, I did actually try to do a poppy deck for the longest time. It was a mid range deck. I'm not a fan of the Aurora playstyle personally. That's also another reason I'm looking at Ambessa right now instead of just Jace. Jace was very fun, but until we get more gear, like tap gear in the future, I think I'm going to be sticking to Ambessa. Uh, this deck is rocking a 7/5 rune split with 7 body runes. This deck recycles a lot of runes. I try to use yellow runes every time I use the actual legend ability, just because of the fact that I have so many orange power cost. And then my battlefields are made to try mitigate that as much as possible. I've done some testing with Treasure Hoard instead of Sunken Temple. It works. I just kind of prefer having the draw, especially because all of your units are either going to be 5 might after you empower them, or 5 might after you use any of your pump spells, 5 might after you use something like Tools of the Empire. It's just very easy to get to that 5 might threshold. So not being 5 might isn't something I really struggle with. This is my going second battlefield, though. My blind battlefield is Risen Altar. This is a brand new battlefield. It lowers the cost of empowerments at this battlefield. Like I said, I'm just trying to find ways to mitigate my power costs as much as humanly possible. This battlefield works really well with Mbessa. Pairs really well with Kale, which is a what I honestly consider to be like a staple of this deck. Being able to empower Kale multiple times to always have your legend going feels really good. And then my third battlefield is another brand new battlefield, Sandswept Tomb. This battlefield reduces the cost of all of your spells by 1 power. Obviously, other decks will make good use of this, but I'm just really looking to try and mitigate these power costs. Um, this pairs incredibly well with the fact that I'm running essentially 8 challenges in this deck. Being able to use something like Hidden Blade on one of my guys for 2 energy and no power feels really nice for drawing if I didn't hide the card. Um, Punch first for 1 rune and recycle one. Very awesome. I've had multiple games now where I only have 1 orange rune, but I'm able to both punch first and challenge at this battlefield. Really awesome. Love this battlefield. Uh, Going on to the main deck, I am running my Ambessa the Wolf as my going first legend and my blind champion. Ambessa the Wolf says 4 for 4, really solid stat line. You get to play her going out turn 2. You can also empower her for 3 energy, 1 power. While she's empowered, she gets 3 might and can no longer be dealt damage unless she's in combat. This means challenge, rampage. Both of them are just, I do my might to you. You can buff yourself up. You can reduce my might. It doesn't matter. I'm not dying to you. This is also very nice for control decks because she can no longer take damage from something like Falling Star, uh, Singularity, Bellows Breath. It's just a very good legend ability on a very good uh, costed unit. I'm also running 3 sabotages. I don't know how you can play an orange deck without sabotage. This card is incredible, 1 for 1. Look at opponent's hand, you get all the hand knowledge you need. Even if you see something you can't see stuff you can't rip away, you're able to play around it. Worst case scenario, they have to counterspell it, which means they no longer have a defy for one of your 8 challenges. Just a very good card. Three punch first, orange staple. One of the honestly few reasons to run orange right now, in my opinion. This card is absurd, absolutely busted. I can't imagine playing an orange deck without at least two of these. Brand new card I'm running is Guttural Roar. This is a 2-cost orange action speed spell that just gives 2 might. So it's 2 for 2 might, already doing pretty well. But if the unit you're using it on is empowered, you get 4 might instead. This is incredible. Pairs very well with your multiple empowered units. Letting your 2 drops go up to 6 might or 7 might in the case of Marauder is incredible and gives them swinging power that you wouldn't expect. Just a very good card. Uh, Now on to the units. We have 2 Fey Folks. I consider this deck a more like almost control mid-range deck. Very, very easy to hit the backline. Fey Folk adds to that by just dragging in units that you thought were safe in the backline to a battlefield. With Tools of the Empire, this thing goes up to 5 might, which means it's actually like a relatively scary unit. It can punch well above its weight class. I absolutely love this. I do, depending on the matchup, sideboard this out for other cards that I need, especially when I'm going second. I'll sideboard out this card for either Repulse, Decree of Strength, uh, anything that I might need depending on the matchup. This one's very replaceable. If I don't think it's going to do something, I'm very much willing to take it out. But it is a very, very good card unless you punch well above your weight class and honest to God, control what your opponent's allowed to play on turn one. It's kind of absurd. The next unit I'm playing 3 of is the Legion Marauder. This card is a absolute staple in Ambessa, in my opinion. It is 2 for 2, and then you can either spend a energy or a power to empower it to give it +1 might and empower it. This is an incredibly cheap way to get your legend going. It turns it into a 2 for 3. It's like having the monkey that you can spend 3 and get a buff, except I don't have to pay that energy out immediately. It is just a incredibly good card. Absolutely love this thing. I can't imagine not having 3 of these. I'm also, for my next 2-drop, playing 3 Noxian Emissaries. This unit feels really nice. It does have a pretty steep empower cost where you just have to recycle 1. But when you recycle 1 and spend the energy, it gets Death Knell, play 2 recruits. It is a very, very solid ability. Having the ability for this thing to go into a battlefield, not care if it dies, and it literally replaces itself with 2 recruits is awesome. This thing feels great. It's another cheapish way to empower the Ambessa Legend, especially if you're going like early. Sometimes you don't want to empower it early, and that's completely fine. It's just a vanilla 2-drop. Very, very good card. Onto the spells. I'm running 3 challenges. Love this card. There is an argument to be running 3 Rampages 2 challenges, but I just love I love the utility of challenge. I love having an action speed. I love that it costs 2. The recycle cost obviously isn't a lot, especially in this deck, but that's why we're running Sandswept Tomb, because this thing now reads 2 energy challenge. Very, very good card. Next spell running is Hidden Blade. I don't find it a lot of the time that I'm not able to get over some sort of might threshold, but there are times where this is just a very good draw card where I'll use this to kill like a Noxian Emissary to make 2 recruits and draw 2 cards. Or I'll use this to kill something like a Aurelia if she's out and I'm not able to get over the might threshold that I'm talking about. It has its utility. I do very much like this card. I can't imagine this deck not having it just for its utility. But yeah, the next card we're running 3 of is Public Execution. This is the Ambessa signature spell. It is a one-sided challenge. It is you pick a unit with less might than you and you kill it. Very simple. This thing also has the new mechanic of flow, where if this thing goes off and it does what it needs to do and it goes to your trash, you can now play it from your trash for its flow cost, which is 5 and 2. Very steep cost. I don't find myself using the flow cost all that often unless I absolutely need to. But just having it for the utility is pretty good. Next thing in this list is we've got 2 First Mates. Pairs really, really well with the Ambessa Legend ability. It lets you go into a battlefield or like pseudo accelerate something, go in, do what you need to do, and then play it to back it out so you're never stuck at a battlefield. I find this deck to be one that doesn't want to really be on a battlefield. I find holding to be kind of a struggle if you do not have your punch first or your guttural roar. And honest to God, there's a lot of things where it's like a Draven matchup. I don't want to be on that battlefield. I don't want to give him a draw. And first mate just adds to that utility of not giving out things that I don't want to die. Kale, this card is a staple in this deck in my opinion. I don't find myself empowering it 3 times all that often. I find that just be too expensive. But empowering it once to empower the Ambessa Legend, and then using it to just basically keep uptime on your Ambessa Legend is very good. It does also activate Sunken Temple because you get the 5 might. It also does pair very well with Challenge, Rampage, Public Execution, basically just all the fun stuff. It's a very good card. Kinku Initiate, I just need draw on this deck. I'm finding myself having 5 or more might pretty consistently. This thing just basically replaces itself in my hand while also putting a body on the field. It's a very good card. Cannot imagine playing this deck without it, because like I said, these colors do not really have a lot of draw power. Rampage, this is what I was talking about earlier, as there's an argument to have 3 of these instead of 2, and then go down on a challenge. This is a brand new pseudo challenge card where it just costs 3 but has no action speed. But as an additional cost, you can recycle an orange to give your unit 2 might, and then they do damage to each other. I find it very good. It does help a lot of the time where it's like I need to go up 1 might, and I'm able to get that because of that additional cost. Again, with Sandswept Tomb, it costs just 3 for the +2 might. I'm going to keep singing its praises. When Sandswept Tomb is one of the best battlefields in this deck, and I stand by that. I do know that it kind of like struggles because there's a lot of other decks where it's incredibly good in, but I find the games that it just works too well for me not to have it. Um, I'm running this as a one-off. It's a Profiteer. Her gimmick is you can unempower something to empower something else. Notably, this doesn't say it has to be something different. So if I want to give something pseudo accelerate and I have something on the field that's already empowered, I can unempower it, re-empower it with her to empower the Ambessa Legend. So what she reads, if I have something that's already empowered out, is 4 and 1 power for a 4 might unit. It's not bad. It does work really well with the Ambessa Legend as well, because you can unempower your legend to empower something else, which in turn re-empowers your legend. So she does on paper just read empower something if you're unempowering your legend. It's pretty solid. She's earned her keep more than enough times. I don't think she's good enough to go up super high on. I like having her in the deck just for the utility, but that's really about it. Next thing I'm running up is 2 Tools of the Empire. I absolutely adore this gear. +4 if it's empowered. That is a huge swing. If you get one of these out, you basically have a punch first that can't be countered unless they have gear hate in their hand, but at that point you've already put it on your unit. It is a very solid card, very, very good. Love having it. Final thing I'm running in the main board is 2 Vi Peacekeepers. We're playing a yellow deck that wants to go in. You're going to run Vi. This is probably the best yellow card from Unleashed. I can't imagine playing this deck without it. It is really, really good. I do sideboard her out in games where she's really not going to get her keep. So games like Ezreal, I do like sideboarding her out just because the Ezreal matchup really isn't a might battle. You're going to get over him pretty easily, and a lot of the time they're not really going to kill you. So I will sideboard her out for Ruin Runners and those types of games. But she is a very, very good card. I love having her for games like Diana after they use Moonfall, so you can just get around that and stun whatever's at that battlefield. Love having her for the E matchup because it basically says, hey, you need challenge or you need Alpha Strike. Just a very, very good card. Now onto the sideboard. Sideboard, after a lot of testing, these are the cards that I think are just the best. I'm running 2 Decrees of Strength. Decree of Strength is essentially sabotage, but it can only hit mind. Notably, it doesn't say spells, equipment. This can also hit units. So things like Watcher, uh, it is very, very good. I love sideboarding this thing in versus the Diana matchup and the Ezreal matchup and the Kaisa matchup. Those ones are when you rip away a Watcher, a Time Warp, it just feels incredible. I do think this is definitely probably the only playable decree out of the new ones. It is incredible when you have this in your main board and you have 5 ways to look at your opponent's hand and rip things away. It's just good. 2 repulses. I keep this for games where I need to get onto a battlefield and stay there. It feels very, very good for matchups like Ivern, where I let them take a battlefield and I can get over the might, but they have like a back off or a hidden blade hit there at the battlefield. It's very good for games like Diana, actually, where she'll target my unit with something like Smokescreen, and I can just counter it with Repulse. I love this card. Feels very, very good. I don't keep it main board just because there's some decks where it doesn't really do anything, and Sabotage is essentially just copying what it does anyway. But having this in the sideboard, being able to put it in, just feels really nice. Disposal Orders. This is the only card that I'm like kind of iffy on. It has done very well in testing so far. I love having it in my deck versus the Miracle Kennen style decks. It's not bad. Love to see it. Worst case scenario, it's 2 for draw 1. Best case, I'm taking away a Rasa, whatever Fizz is trying to target, whatever Kennen gave flow to. Very good card. Salvage, we're in a meta where if you don't have Gear Hate in your sideboard, you're not playing the game right. This is for the Auroras, the Aurelias, the depending on the Kennen list, either the hooks or the shovel. Just an overall good card. Uh, in the sideboard, I'm trying the Ambessa Respected and Feared. This is something that I will sideboard in when I'm going second, just because I feel like playing something like Kale into Ambessa on curve is very, very good. Or playing Legion Marauder, empowering him into Ambessa on your next turn is really good. And especially if you're playing something like Risen Altar, you can have these really big turns where you basically get over this really expensive cost for just 1 and 1. You're paying essentially what you pay with the Noxian Emissary to give her Otacon effects and Assault 2. Again, she's also very good because she's 5 energy for 5 might, so she's on rate with no power cost. Just a very good unit. And we're playing orange Rune Runner. It's Rune Runner. This is for the Ezreals, the Dianas, any control deck like Kaisa. Especially paired with Decree of Strength, when you're able to rip away those Watchers. Watcher is like the only scary thing to go up against with this deck. With this card, which Decree of Strength just rips away. It doesn't leave them with a lot of options to really get over it because a lot of these control decks aren't playing that many big things unless you're playing against like Hui, where Hui can get big, but obviously we have access to the punch first, and she's the same Midas way, so you can actually buff her up before you go in and use something like Public Execution or Challenge, or Rampage is really good with her. It's just overall a really good card. I can't imagine playing this deck without one. And anyway, that's the list. Mbessa is a very fun legend. I will try to get you guys some games showing off her power. I've had a lot of fun playing her, and I'm excited to try and bring you guys more Riftbound content. All right, guys. We're gonna be playing just a quick little game against a Draven to show you the power of this deck. Because I am doing blind, we're gonna go through the Risen Altar. See what we can get. Damn, roll nat 20. Just lock in. Now I do like this opening hand a little bit, like honestly quite a bit. I don't think I want the Fey Folk. Draven is just gonna run over whatever 2-drop I end up playing. I think the plan here is going to be Noxian Emissary into this. Let Draven get his card draw, but then I can come back with the 2 recruits. What we can do here is pass focus, conquer and score. We'll tap 1 to empower the Noxian Emissary. This will empower the Ambessa Legend as well. I'll play out a Legion Marauder, and I will just pass. Again, he could play like a cleave or something to get over my Emissary. I'm fine if he wants to get over my Emissary, just because this battlefield really doesn't do anything for Draven. Discard, okay. Spinning Axe. Honestly, that's probably one of the best things we could ask for. Let him have his card draw. Do my 2 recruits. Yep, draw your card. Cool. Now, some power this guy. So now he's up to 3 might. This guy's only 5. We can play this out. We'll play out a Guttural Roar. Gets him up to 7. Conquer and score. I'm then going to play out a challenge. Go to 2. Now, Draven did DRAM quite a bit. I have only DRAMmed once for that challenge. I think, honestly, the better play here is going to be just bring this guy back. I don't know what he's going to have, and I really don't want to just feed him points. I don't going to that 3rd point isn't really going to be that impactful. If we played out like a Kaiser or something, then it would be. But as it stands right now, we're very much able to do this. We'll just be fine. I see. Cycle 1. Interesting. He's playing a longsword. Is that 5 might? Okay. Now, he is holding up enough that if he wants to play a... If he really wanted to play a Spinning Axe, he absolutely can. It is one of those situations where I think the smart thing to do here is develop out the Kinku, just because I have the 5 might on the battlefield. See if he has a reaction to that. Cool. Draw our 1 card. Exactly what we're looking for. Two for the hard bargain. Means he has something he wants to protect. I'll play it. I'll pay it. That's fine. Or he could be baiting it. Yep. Take away that Spinning Axe. We do see he has the stun. That is good, though, because now we can move here. Conquer here. And we will just pass. The only thing he gets here, because unless he top decks something really nice, that does not work on attack. I have to be the attacking unit for him to get that. And what we can do on the next turn... Where is it? You just going for a trade? Pass focus in. All right. He's going for a trade. Interesting. Back. He pulls out the Draven. Draven is at a 6 right now. Yes. Okay. So what we can do here is I'll play out the recruit. I will get rid of the profiteer. Emissary isn't exactly what we're looking for at the current moment. If I'm being honest, I was really hoping to get like anything else. But what we can do is play out him. I'll tap the 3 for him, so he'll be empowered. She'll be empowered. I'll do this just to bring the recruit back, just so I'm not giving him any draw. I do not want Draven to have any draw. It's completely okay if that one Draven wants to go to 8. We have ways around that in this deck specifically. We have ways to get over that, and we can actually bait out the we can bait out this. It's okay. He's only going to 5 on this turn too, so I don't have to worry. That punch verse in hand is very nice. I think the correct answer here is we need to find a way to bait out the Ezreal. Okay. So what's he gonna get rid of? Okay, he's keeping the. Okay. Oh, that is beautiful. Okay, so what we'll do first is we'll do 3 and 1 to empower our Ambessa and empower the legend. This Draven is at 6. If he gets a stun, it doesn't really matter. But what we can do... Well, Draven should be at 8. 6. Yeah. Draven's at 8. What I can do is we're just gonna play the public execution. Oh shit! Wait. Sorry. 1 second. I need to rewind that. My so I had the 5 up. My bad. Forgot. So we have the 3 for the Ambessa power. There is a way to break this. I think the smart thing to do is to go for a trade. Full trade right here. My 8 to their 8. Fast focus, not playing anything. Currently 8 to 8. So you need something. Ugh. See if we can force the stun. It's the hope. Yep. Longsword. And then he still has enough for the stun. This will give him a draw. That'd be 10. What he's going to try to do... I can force anything out real quick. Put it on the recruit. Cool. Conquer and score. See, he's holding that up so that I can't just do this. I'm going to get rid of this. That is a very beautiful thing to have. I will let Draven hold the 6. I will just play this out. Nonetheless, he can't win on this turn. He'll hold. The Draven will be 9, but what I can do on the next turn is I will be able to deal with that. Even if he'll put that on, that's okay. He doesn't have enough red runes to equip. Yep, put that on Draven, so he goes to 11. But the good news is he doesn't have anything. I know his last card in his hand is the. I know the last card in his hand. I know exactly what it is. Now, this is maybe a Tide Turner or something. That would not be the best. What I would like to have right now is a way to. Okay. Okay. 1, 2. Power this. Sorry. We return that. Tap this. Do this. And abuse the fact that they're the same mites. They are currently the exact same might, but the thing is Ambessa just cannot take damage right now. Cool. Cool. That's okay. That's fine. So he's marked. He's marked for 11 now. Probably should have started with the punch first, because then I was playing around the idea that that was a unit. Conquer to that. Bring this back so that I don't want him getting a draw. So what I can do is tap Ambessa, do this, say goodbye to my runes, and just hope to God he doesn't draw a accelerate unit. Because I know the other card in his hand is the stun and move back to a battlefield. Yep, there it is. He topped it to Kaisa or Rek'Sai. I might be screwed. But I still think this is the better option. He did have enough on his side of the board that if he wanted to, he could have empowered the Poro. Damn. He had the 2. Unfortunate. Oh, dang. Dang. I had all 3. I just didn't. I was playing around. It was a Pike or a other hidden unit, like a Tide Turner. Oh, that's unfortunate. I knew he had the Existential Dread. Hmm. GG. Close game. But yeah, that's my own fault. I misplayed a bunch of times this game. Honestly, I probably should have started the punch first under the Draven. I was not playing around the idea of a Edge of Night. That was a fun game. All right, and for this next game, I'm going to be playing against an Akali. Again, blind, I'm going to go for Risen Altar. I do think this battlefield is insane, just as your blind battlefield. We're going second this game. Okay. Now, because we're going second, I'm going to switch to my CC, especially because if I play it correctly, Akali is going to be stuck in these battlefields. Uh, Actually, this is one of those weird scenarios where even if I'm going second, I want the orange one. Akali does play Falling Star, and I just want to have this unit. She's got the Falling Star, she's got the Shuriken Flip, all the kill spells. I don't want Ambessa to be able to be targeted at a battlefield. Kali also doesn't really like stack battlefields, so there is an argument. I'm going second, so I'm gonna drop the Fey Folk just for Rune Runners. Disposal Order could come in at some point, just to deal with the flow from her trash, like Flawless, like Execution. But I think this is what we're gonna run with. I don't hate this opening hand. I do like keeping the Rune Runner just because it's just a very solid card. It also means that my Noxian Emissary I can empower turn one and still play out on curve. So I'm gonna drop the Profiteer just because I have the Ambessa as my 4-drop right now. And never punish because I get a Kale. Never mind. We will be playing Kale turn one. We got another Kale. No. Hasn't played anything. I do. Can't really send the Mournful Witness anywhere? Yeah, she recognized that too. So what I can do, though, is come here. Conquer. We'll tap 2 to empower Kale. Then we'll empower the Ambessa Legend. I am going to leave the battlefield first with Kale, and then empower Kale, just so I can get my Ambessa empowered again. And this will put me up to 7 might, which brings me outside of Falling Star range. It also means that Kale needs a lot of stuff to be able to get over. Not Kale, but Akali needs a lot of stuff. She's empowering Akali. Okay, she's about to draw 3 cards. One. Yep. Yep. You're holding focus, brother. You don't got to pass to me. Draw your 2. Go back in. Draw your 3. Yep. Mournful Witness is also very, very good in Akali because you can just send her in and bring her out. Draw your 3 cards. It's okay with me. Now, the smart thing from him is probably going to be just to play out the a unit there and bounce the Silvercorn back just to get more card draw. He doesn't really want to lose his engine. I am at a point right now where I am able to just go over that. There's another argument to be had that I probably should just develop out the Rune Runner or the Ambessa. Ambessa I'm a little scared about just because of the fact that hidden. That's probably a, if I had to guess, the Azir card where you draw something back. Because they did that, I'm actually not super interesting. 7 might. That does very much lead me to believe that they have stuff in their hand that I don't want to see. We'll pass focus. I think he's trying to figure out if she's deflect too. She's a 7, right? Yes. What we'll do now is we will hide. We'll float one right now to do that. Use the 2 to empower her again, and now she'll go up to 9 and have deflect and ganking. I do still think the smart thing to do here is just I'll play out the Ambessa. And then on my next turn, I will pass. My next turn, I will try to go in. She has a way to kill my Ambessa, and that's completely okay. Ambessa's not really going to do all the heavy lifting right now. It's just the Kale, especially because Kale has Deflect 2 or Deflect 3. So if she wants to Falling Star Kale, she has to recycle 9 runes on top of the 2. And she does not have 9 runes to recycle. Yeah, move her back. Now then. He has drawn a bunch of cards, so I'm just under the assumption that he has Defies in his hands. I would love to get a challenge or something here to beat that, but as it stands right now, I'm not able to do that unless she wants to recycle more greens. Cool. Cool. Mbessa. We knew that was going to happen, though. Got a Sabotage. See if we can get a Defy. Forgot it's T, I think. Or L. No, L. That's why I was L. I will do that. Yeah, it's my fault. Ooh, pressed R instead of L. Interesting. Because the issue is, I really do want to go in to deal with those mournful witnesses, but if that is a Emperor's Divide, I am just going to give her +4 might. Best thing I can really hope for right now is that I can just force out. Oh, interesting. So 3 Zonias. That means we know a Zonias is not hidden at the battlefield. Even if she pumps one of these ups, I don't have to worry. We will take the Shuriken flip and just recycle it. Yeah, recycle. Recycle. I was going to put this recycle. Deck. Interesting. So we did see his entire hand. I think what we should do realistically is move in here a Kale because she is deflect 3. On top of that, if this is something like a stun, like an abandon, I can still get over right now with a Vi. Collect 3. Yeah, so he's not playing it out. So we'll just kill both of them. I don't think he wants to deramp that hard. It's kind of the conundrum with Kale is I don't usually empower her a lot, but it's just really, really good. All right. These 2 will die. It's good for me. We know his hand is kind of crappy. So what we can do, so we didn't see any pump spells in that hand. Then move Kale to the battlefield. We know he doesn't have any pump spells in his hand right now. He is going to draw a bunch of cards from Ambessa. All he has is a longsword. I'm not super pressed about losing the Rune Runner, unless he gets super lucky and draws three. What's it called? If he draws three uh on guards or three disciplines, then he will trade with Kale. But it looks like he's going for a develop turn. And I am beating him really hard in point tempo right now. I do think the correct thing is going to be just hold prio and send his Telecorn in and out, in and out. Or sorry, in and out, and just draw two cards because you have the option to. Interesting. Kali's a very interesting pick here. But I think we just develop. I think we'll play that. I think on the next turn, because the next turn I will be at 9 runes. I have enough to do both of these if I really wanted to. I think bodies are what I need at the moment, though. But I could also just play out Kale. I wouldn't be able to empower Kale. That's the issue. I think Kale is just a smarter play right here. I don't need the tools of the Empire, like, at all, honestly. And on the next turn, I will be at 8 runes, which is enough to play out Vi in both these. And if I'm lucky, I'd also be able to see a... Sorry, on the next turn I'll be at 9 runes. If I'm lucky, I could see like a Guttural Rage or something. I'm not going to empower the Noxian. I just want him as a body. Same for the other Kale. But I can very easily break both his battlefields because Kale... This Kale's already 9. And Rune Runner cannot be targeted by abilities. So honestly, it's looking like a double punch first the Rune Runner and just send her in because what do you do? These are the things that matter the most, though, and they can't really be dealt with unless she wants to pay 11 runes, which again doesn't have 11 runes. I don't think he is very new, so I think he's trying to learn his Akali deck. I do not believe he realizes that he gets to hold Prio, so he doesn't need me to pass to him to move him in and out. Okay, I get what he's going for here. On my next turn, I will have enough to empower Kale twice and play Vi. That's not worth it though, just because I have that. Let's defy. I think you meant charm. Yeah. It's just not worth. We could trade. It's not worth. It's not worth pumping up right now to protect it. It was just a 2-drop. That's completely okay. The place, yeah, it was the charm. It's just really not worth pumping it up to protect it. I don't mind my Noxian Emissary dying. I will have more than enough might to get over both these people. Interesting. He's a bunch of cards. This is my entire like thing with the Akali deck. Is I don't think it's a bad deck, but there's certain matchups where it's like you just drew half your deck and I have no clue what you're supposed to do with it. Like right now, Falling Star will just deal with oh, I think he's banking on this guy living because he doesn't have any action speed spells, surely, right? I think he might have misplayed. Yes. I can move in here with both of them. He can bump up his girl as much as he wants. I'm going to let him bump it up. As it stands right now, I have literally all the answers. I have a 15 might in my pocket right now, and he can't target her with a. You literally just can't target her, and if he wants to target her, it's a lot of runes to recycle. Yeah. Just show him the punch first and the Vi. Yeah. Obviously, this guy's kind of a newer player, and this probably isn't the best showing of this deck, but I mean, right here, I think this is a pretty good showing of what you can do. This I'm swinging in for 14 might. I'm never on the defense, which is perfect for this deck. If I wanted to, I had the options to do this. Yeah. He had a Vile Maw. It wouldn't have mattered. I could have gone over the Vile Maw even if he didn't recycle a rune. Wow. Yep. He doesn't have any pump spell. Sorry, just two. Two spells. OMG. Card games. Holy crap. I'm casually sitting here with enough might to go over all of it anyway. Like, even if all of this, it was on guard, on guard, on guard. Or even if he had enough for a Vile Maw, I'm just going over the Vile Maw. I do think Akali's a rough deck. Like, being able to hold all the aggro that I need is just perfect. The Ambessa Legend is incredible. This game, I was able to get Kale up to deflect 3 ganking, and it's just... well, that was a fun one.